Most people have the idea that gaming is for boys. Like it's just
Yes.
like growing up. It's like but gaming is really for everybody. If you could speak on how women in the industry and how it feels to be a female CEO in an industry that is thought to be dominated by men.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I gave a lot of time and thought to before I jumped into Super League was a lot of those types of questions. Who is a gamer today? Can I represent a gamer? And what I saw as we were running different types of family, friends, test events was I saw a lot of young girls and young adult females in the audience. I saw fathers playing with sons together. So I saw multi-generational gaming. And I had to go through my own process to debunk who a gamer is today. 50% of avid gamers are married, 30% are female. The other key thing that is a trend that I really try to impress upon investors is gaming isn't something you grow out of anymore either. If you think about it, when I was growing up, sure, I played video games, I played traditional sports, but I also watched a lot of passive entertainment, TV. There's a real thirst and interest in now having interactive entertainment, and there is a social component to gaming. You are having all of that chat, you're playing with your friends, and it's increasingly becoming more and more of someone's entertainment interest that is not something that will just end in their teenage years. Now, all of that said, as you go to the industry, I spent a fair amount of my career in industries that are typically labeled to be male-dominated. So on one hand, for me, I didn't walk into the interactive gaming space and feel that that was going to be unusual if I looked around the room and I didn't see a lot of women in there. That said, because of some of the negative press that had been out there, I probably was a little bit more alert or aware to see how I would be received, being somebody who was new to esports 5 years ago. And I have to say that I really give credit to great partners that we have, like Riot Games and Microsoft, our great brand sponsors like Nickelodeon, Viacom, Mattel, Logitech, you name it, Red Bull. I really felt very collegial. I felt a very warm reception, a lot of respect they were giving me for my background and all the experience that I did bring from other industries. And I think it really shows the maturing of an industry. I think when esports is exploding the way it is, there's not enough incumbent leadership to keep up with the growth. And so it requires bringing capability in from the outside. And so my experience has really been great.
And the next part of that is how do we shift that acceptance by your partners and the people at the top of the industry to the gamers themselves?
Yeah.
Because the communities can be a little bit hairy and blue sometimes. So how do you bring that down to the gamer level?
Yeah, it's a great question because it really speaks to, I'd say we were about a year into Super League and something started to become very clear to us as a brand, that we had a real opportunity to be a thought leader in this space as well. We were bringing these players together, and what we saw was actually not just friendships getting created, but really good sportsmanship. We have a pretty high code of conduct in our events, and what we saw is that when you bring people out of the shadows, when anything is anonymous and done online, you're going to see some toxicity.
Yeah.
Games are not toxic. It's the chat often that's toxic. And things like, we're very proud of having League of Legends as one of our game titles. We want to see more and more women feeling that that is a very safe, positive experience when they're gaming. And we do skew higher on young adult females playing that game when we bring them into our in-person leagues. Kindness is restored, right? And also what I love about our experiences is often when I look out at the leagues, I see people bonding around a game that maybe don't look like the kinds of people who are walking through the hallways of high school or through the quad of college together. And so that's the beauty of gaming in real life, is it really breaks down those walls and really takes a lot of that negative type of stereotype out. And I will tell you, we have obviously several other women at Super League, and it makes me proud to see how they are very proud to have a female CEO, and also how the female gaming community, really has each other's back and really wants to celebrate all the different kinds of roles we can have in gaming. Some of it is for people who are good at gaming themselves. I am not. But, we celebrate female shoutcasters, people who are working behind the camera as well.